Okay, this would be a fun video. I got reacted to again by Asmongold. Little known fact, I've actually been watching Asmongold since his transmog competitions way back in World of Warcraft. And I pretty much know when he's live and how he works. So I got this random view bump. There was 243 extra views on one video out of like nowhere, okay? Saw this little bump in my graph and I thought, you know what? There's only one way that happens, and that's when someone's live. And dug through the live stream, bang, found it. I knew, okay, yep, he was in fact live. And then this morning the video came out. And so I'm kind of eager to see what he has to say. I did cheat just a little bit, I will admit, by scrolling down and reading the comments, because I mean, the video is about me. I wanted to see what people were saying. And what's interesting is this is actually surprisingly positive. Like, most of the comments were pretty nice. I have to look pretty hard to find a comment that's pretty negative about it. I think there was one reply somewhere, this one here, he's singularly one of the worst shows of all time, which, like, I can't even feel bad about that. You know how many times I've dunked on games or got kicked out of content creator programs because I've gone too hard against the game? I'm not going to take that one personally. Of course, there's the Twitch chat as well. I'll put myself above the Twitch chat so you can read that. And let's keep going.
$110,000 grind.
Breaking down all of the normal gyms. The numbers are actually insane. You're going to want to watch all of this one because by the end of it, you're not... Yeah, this is my YouTuber intro. Here's a little known fact. You got to make sure you get them for at least 8 seconds in the first beginning of the video. That's the audience retention span average. If you look it up currently right now, the average person's retention span when they're watching media is about 8 seconds. So you want to have at least a good hook in the first 8 seconds. Going to believe he's kind of laughing. I feel like he knows this. Never actually taken a look at some of these numbers. With that being said, let's get going with it. There's a significant change coming to Diablo Immortal that will shift the power in this game. I'm going to fully explain it, including the math breakdown for you in this video. So by the end of the video, you're going to know everything you need to know for this upcoming change. Normal gyms are about to shift how powerful they are. In the most recent patch update, they stated on the 22nd, they're going to be adjusting normal gyms. These gyms will receive an additional attribute which modifies the base stats of the item they're socketed into. This is similar to Resonance, how Resonance actually modifies the equipment base stat as well. Right. Normal gyms will only be modifying the set items they're socketed into, as legendary items can only have legendary gym sockets, not normal sockets. Because of the variability in the number of gyms that both gloves, belts, boots, and necklaces can have, this means 3 gym spots are now even more of a priority than they were before. Because there is a total of 14 normal gym sockets you can have at a max, and because the maximum gym rank at 10 costs 19,683, this would get... He looks so confused right now. I think he's following though. Normally he can follow the math stuff pretty decent from the videos I've seen, but I know it's kind of a lot. I remember making this video and thinking like, I don't want this to seem like completely depressing, but I want to get the math out there. Give you a grand total of 275,562 normal gyms which you need to acquire in order.
What? That's how many normal gyms you need? Over 250,000.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. To max out your character with the new system.
Oh my God.
If we safely assume that you can get each normal gym for only 300 platinum each, on my server they're actually maximum price for everything, but let's just assume that you could infinitely buy the supply of these at 300 platinum at a cheaper price. This would give you a total of 82 million platinum.
So you only need 82 million platinum to buy everything you need.
If you buy Eternal Orbs in the amounts of $200 each, it's the cheapest amount possible, meaning you can get 7,500 Eternal Orbs per $100. So let's figure out how much actual money this would cost. Now, 10 platinum is 1 Eternal Orb, so if we divide this by 10, we'll get the cost in Eternal Orbs, then we'll divide it by 7,500, then we'll get the cost. I think he's following the math. He seems like he's following. So
that's 7,500. By the way, what he did is it, you know, again, like you guys understand what he just did, right? Do I have to explain this?
Okay, so now he's going to explain for the chat, and we get to see if he actually followed the math or not. This is a pretty simple math, I'm going to be honest. Answer with a calculator. And you can see it on the right-hand side also. So.
Yes, he did. Oh, okay. All right, so just recant math. All right, so basically platinum, every 1 Eternal Orb gives you 10 platinum.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's 1 to 10.
So just drop a 0.
So then you could divide that 82... basically take a 0 off of it, right?
Thank you.
Because then it would be 8.2.
Thank you. Correct.
Because it's 1 to 10 if you're trying to get Eternal Orbs.
You know what? 5 points for Gryffindor for following the math.
Then, after you do that, you take 7,500, which is the most, that is the amount of eternal orbs you get for $100, which is the highest return on investment. Highest return on money spent.
Correct.
So that means for every $100, you would get 7,500 eternal orbs. And because you need 8.2 million eternal orbs, because that's what would give you 82 million platinum.
Yes, bring it on home.
That's what he's doing.
Correct. 10 points for Gryffindor. All right. He figured out the math. He got the math. Pretty simple math, but we would actually need. Now we're going to times this by 100 in order to get the dollar amount, and we have 110.
Okay, so what he just did is he divided, again, the 8.2 million by 7.5.
Yeah,
and that was, so how many times do you need to buy $100 worth of eternal orbs?
Yeah,
in order to buy every single gem at this price that is even lower than what it actually is. You would need to buy eternal orbs for $100 1,102 times.
Correct.
So
if you
that
wanted
is
them
over
now,
1,000, 1,100.
If you wanted them exactly now, and this is something I should have explained better in the video, because this isn't something you have to do, and I didn't really explain that part in the video. I did in a further video, but in this video I didn't really explain. This is if you wanted to instantly max, like I want it now, damn it, like if you're one of those people. Or else there's obviously way more efficient ways to do this. Okay, but this, if we're looking at the most raw set of data in terms of value, like an economic proposition of what these items are supposed to be worth in terms of in-game currency, that's what this math explains. And I did fail to explain that concept in the video, to be fair.
100 times, you are swiping the credit card for $100 of eternal orbs.
Correct. So he's with it. Now we're going to times this by 100 in order to get the dollar amount, and we have $110,224 in order to max out the normal gems.
I love how he just can't even say it without laughing.
Now this is just all assuming napkin. I mean, not really napkin math. We're using a calculator, but just some philosophy behind how much it would cost if you could.
Well, also, like, you've got to keep in mind, probably the ceiling for gems is probably 500 to 600.
He's doing me dirty with this pause right now. Come on, but I kind of did him dirty with the pause as well, right there on this one. So fair.
So, like, really, you're talking about probably 140 to 150,000, because like he was using a lower price, and then also because these items are going to be in higher value, that will also drive up the price because like more demand, same value, same supply, higher price. That's the way it goes.
I noticed in like about half the chat is talking about my hair, which means I feel like my brand is in the wrong area. If people are looking at a video with math in the games and everyone's just talking about my hair, then I feel like I need to go into like hair supply selling or something. I'm in the wrong business.
So yeah, it's going to be even more than that. Like 110,000 is like, that's very, very low.
Just infinitely purchase these gems. Obviously, people aren't going to spend $110,000 in normal gems, so how do we get them normally for free? Now, there's such a thing as a bound and an unbound gem. For instance,
well, if you get them normally for free, it will take you 733 years, 6 months, 5 days, and 3 hours to farm half of them.
So you get 733 years is his guess. Well, a little off, but this one has the market icon obviously on it, and the one next to it does not. If it has the market icon, it is an unbound gem, meaning it is tradable and sellable. If it does not, it is a bound gem. Currently in the game, you can farm 12 unbound gems plus 6 bound gems per day. You can get the unbound gems by doing things like 4-player party grouping or running dungeons. Fairly simple. And you can get the the bound gems through 6 of them through a hidden lair every day. So you get a cap currently of 18 that are farmable. By the way, apparently I got comments on this one that normal gems do not have a cap, but they just have a very reduced drop rate. Which, if this is something that is true, where normal gems do not have an actual cap, that's something I didn't know, and it's new information to me. I've never actually been able to farm over, however, 18 gems, the 6 from the lair, and then the normal 12. I don't think I've ever got more than just the 12. But then again, I mean, I don't play like 12 hours a day. I play like a couple hours a day, right? So that could be something where it's just maybe I haven't farmed enough to get like a 0.01% if there's still a chance. Or it could be something where it's like when the server rolls over, obviously there's that reset, and so it's not exactly 24 hours, so people are playing during that gap. I'm not really sure, but I do know that you can get more gems than I did in the math here. Before we talk about things like vendors.
Okay.
An occasional event will throw some normal gems out.
Right.
And of course, the Battle Pass has some, and you can purchase some directly from the shop.
Ooh.
And of course, you can buy 10 of them weekly, basically increasing the amount of normal gems you're getting by a few on average per day.
Okay.
It's fairly safe to add an average of 2 more on per day through things like the events, the free battle pass.
We're going to average it out.
I thought 20 a day was a fairly safe guess. I didn't get a lot of people telling me it was way off, but I got like 1 or 2 people. So I'm actually curious, is 20 gems a day too low? People that are farming way more than me, are you getting more than 20 gems a day? I thought that was being generous. Host, trader, etc. So let's say you can get an average of 20 gems per day at a maximum if you're farming every day. Now, it has been 253 days since the launch of the game. So let's say you've realistically been farming free. You could get 5,060 normal gems, approximately. Again, it's napkin math, but decently accurate. You could have farmed about 5,000 normal gems by now free.
Yes.
That's assuming playing in max.
Every single day.
All of the things, all of the events, all of the purchasing,
all the
never
time.
missing a day, and playing since launch.
Casual
We have yet to address the market, and let's just assume that no matter what, you could always get the gem you wanted for only 300 platinum, even though they're always sold out on my server and they go for 400. Let's just say you could always. I'm glad he mentions it's a theoretical, because like I try to do disclaimers in my video all the time. Like if it is something where it's like, hey, this is just a discussion in theory or a game theory or whatever. Like I like to have those disclaimers because you gotta be careful when you make videos, because sometimes people will just like hear what you say and then take it as gospel. And it's like, that's cool to have people that believe me like that. But I'm also not up here trying to be a preacher either. You get what I'm saying? I'm using a metaphor here. So it's like, sometimes I'm just trying to talk about something, get an idea out there. And I don't want people to be like, oh my God, you have to take $110,000 to play the game. That's not necessarily the extreme of what I'm saying either. I am talking about extremes in the video, but I'm not necessarily saying if you don't have 110K, the game is trash. Like sometimes people extrapolate upon your points as a YouTuber for you. But anyway, let's continue. So
again, like keep in mind, a 300 to 400 differential, whenever you have 110,000, divide 110,000 by 3, that's like what? About like 35, 33? Yeah, 33,000. So then you add 33,000 on top of 110,000, that's 143,000.
So he's trying to figure out what the maximum cost of gems are, because I said 300 and I said they normally go for maximum, but I forgot to say the maximum was 400. So he's thinking the maximum is like 500 or 600 for one of these, which it's not necessarily the case. It's 400 per gem. I am curious to see whether or not they raise that price. Reason being, if more total platinum is getting transferred, even though it's the same amount of gems getting transferred, that would technically make it where they're getting more of a, I mean, not more of a percentage, but more of a cut, because, 15% off 1,000 platinum to trade one rank 1 gem would be 150, right? Whereas the 15% off 400 would be 60. So they're technically be making more per transaction, and the number of transactions needed wouldn't be going down either on these. And then because you still need those number of gems in order to rank them up. And then because you're charging them more, then people are having to buy more platinum in order to purchase these more from the WoWs. And then the free-to-play also get an opportunity to make more platinum because there's an increased value around the normal gems. So they could be trying to make more money while buffing the economy of the free-to-play sort of at the same time. It could be an interesting play, actually. I've been thinking about this more since my video.
That's a lot of fucking money. Oh, it's actually more than that, excuse me. Because 33 would have been for 100, it's 110, so it'd be 36, or 30, 37, 38.
The person I'm most acutely aware of that has been free to play that said they have farmed platinum would be Apollyon Gaming. I believe he was quoted to have farmed 3.5 million, but don't put me to the core law that I just think that's
so he's farmed. So this guy is he's farmed the most platinum, and he's farmed 3.5 million. So then if platinum to Eternal Orbs is the same, so you would divide that by 10. So that would only be 350,000. So he basically farmed like maybe like a few $1,000s worth of platinum by playing all day, every single day.
Yeah, probably. I mean, but then again, this is just one of the guys I know. There's probably someone out there that using multiple accounts that has farmed more. Said that's what the Data Miner was saying. So 3.5 million platinum, let's say you have farmed since launch. Now let's divide that by 300. Let's say not only have you played since launch, but you've put every single piece of platinum you've ever got only into normal gems, not legendary gems, not expanding your stash tab storage, nothing else. You only put it in there. That would give you another 11.
We're gonna need a lot of those to be able to afford this.
1,666 gems. If we add on the 5,060 that you could have grinded free to play as well, we still only have a rank 9 gem. If we take the total amount of gems needed to have maxed out one gem, again, there's 14 gem spots, but we're just talking about one here.
Wait, so if he played every single day, all day, without missing a single day, with maximizing the events, he would almost be able to max out one gem out of 14 gems?
You know, he's really following all these points. Sometimes he seems like he's not paying attention, but he is actually paying attention. So he's getting the math correct. That is correct. That is, in fact, what I'm saying. Again, apparently you can get more gems, maybe. So we could reduce some of this math, but he gets the concept of what I'm saying. Yeah. Move that by the amount that it would have been physically possible, and even gift him one extra, just so we don't have any roundings. We can see we're still short 2,956 normal gems in order to have maxed out one of the spots. However, let's do that math again. So we still need 2,956. All right, no problem.
Uh-huh.
Now let's take the normal amount of gems that you need in total to max out your character and remove it by the total amount of gems that would have been possible to have free to play at the moment. And we are looking at still need another 250,000 gems. There's another...
Oh my god! Oh my god! So let me get this straight. So you've got 275,000. Let's actually do some math here. So you said 253 days, right? So you take 275. Let's see here. 275. Oh fuck. Let me see. How can I actually do this? Because I want to see
what's the math you're
how
doing here?
long it would take to actually farm every single one of these. So divided by, we're just going to do 16,727. Okay. Yes. And then you multiply this, so because obviously this is the amount of times that it would be divisible for. So then you use this number right here as a metric for each instance of 253 days. So then we're going to multiply this by 250, and 250.
So I didn't understand the math the first time, so I went back, rewatched it, and figured it out. Basically, he's calculating out the valuation if you were using all of the platinum gained at the rate at which the best free-to-play guy that I know about was able to gain it. And I was calculating it at the limited number of gems that you can get per day, how many days it would take for you with those caps in place to be able to farm all the gems. We did different calculations, so we came to different answers. Thinking about it, the reality is it's going to be a spectrum of people, depending upon how much they're selling certain gems to focus on others, etc. The reality of how many years it's going to take is literally just a theory. We could all shoot numbers out doing math different way. There's no actual number that's correct here, because the person who goes into the game isn't going to do exactly what I did with my math, which is they're not going to keep every gem ever, and they're also not going to do what he did with his math, which is essentially selling most of the gems as well in order to fund certain parts of the account. Because you have to realize the person who got the platinum of 3.5 million, that we're using that calculation for Asmon's variety of the calculation, I'm sure not all of that platinum was just farmed without selling gems. In order to get that much platinum, you actually have to sell the gems, which we are with that math, then buying right back. So the math doesn't actually make sense from Asmon's calculation. And mine is a more unrealistic expectation of no one ever selling anything and never focusing on any type of gem. So the reality is it's probably more in the middle between both of our calculations.
53. So this is 253. So you would need to spend a little bit more than 4,000 days playing the game. And so let's go ahead and divide that by years. We'll go ahead and divide that by 365. And so we're talking 11. Okay, so I quoted you guys at 700 years. Turns out you're going to get off light. It's only going to be 11.4 years to farm.
And 11.4. It should be... Well, I don't know if he did the math 100% correct, or maybe I did my math wrong in the video, but I think it's 37 years to farm these, if I remember correctly.
You'll get all the gems that you need.
I don't know if that math's 100% right, or maybe I didn't follow that correctly. But I'm interested to see what... Okay, now I want to know what he says, because that's literally the next part I do here is I do this math.
You know,
play at the moment, and we are looking at still need another 250,000 gems. There's another problem that we aren't really even addressing, which is the market flow, meaning there are more whales purchasing up these gems quicker than there are free-to-play people basically exporting these gems onto the market. This is because the free-to-play people need the gems also. It's not like the
Those are the slaves, by the way. Refer to them by their true name, not free-to-play slaves.
People who are playing the game just don't want to progress in the game. They also want the power, so only some of them are selling these gems. For this reason, it makes it even harder to actually get your hands on them, even if you wanted to spend money. So there's also further ignoring the fact that when the free-to-play do sell the gems, it's to be able to buy the other part of the game that is pay-to-win, the legendary gems. They have to sacrifice one of their arms to buff the others, essentially what's happening as free-to-play. Well, that was kind of fine and
selling
dandy,
a kidney.
but if you need both like equally as much, it's going to create a larger gap, in my own personal opinion.
Absolutely.
If you want to see some really depressing math, here's the amount of total gem, or days, I should say, that it would take you to farm the amount of gems you need. 13,000. Okay, so this is where I get into the actual math of it, and we get to see what he thinks of the difference between my math and his math. 1,778 days, also known as 37 years, just about 40 years.
Oh, did he do the math differently than me?
Yeah, I did the math way different.
Oh, maybe he might have. I'm not sure. He divided it by 20. That's for Max. Okay, you did it wrong. Maybe I did. He understands the game better than me, so I'll assume that he was right. 37 years.
Okay, so I'm glad that he doesn't go back through the math again or something, because it's pretty simple. I thought it's 275,000 normal gems you need. You get 20 a day, so you divide by 20. That's how many days there are. And then I divide how many days there are by how many days there are in a year, which gives us how many years it is, which would be 37.74. So, because there's 365 days in a year. So you take however many total days there are, divide by 365, you get that's how many years it is, 37.74. So I was wondering what was going on. I felt really dumb for a moment. I was like, I'm not understanding this math. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And I was like, I don't really know what to do if I don't understand this dude's math. Obviously, there's not enough gems. However, I think that's about to change, because this is a very obvious math problem, and I know they're aware of that, especially if they're trying to start some kind of economy. This also doesn't really address the problem of like 15% tax is being taken when you buy and sell stuff in the market, so we're losing a little bit of value, etc. None of that additional math is in it. I'm looking at this from the most like gracious way I can. I even calculated some of the gems at 300 platinum each. So if anything, the numbers are going to be worse, and we need more normal gems in the game. However, that does seem to be what's about to happen.
He's got to sell that cat for the gems.
And not just because it states it right here, where they're going to modify hidden layers to provide players with additional ways to obtain tradable gems. There's actually some more information as well. Now, I'm not going to go into full like detail because it's pretty rough information at the moment, but basically I was talking to the data miner, and what he's saying is that the fishing minigame seems to have a way to reward players with normal gems. And currently in the game, I don't really know what the point of fishing would be if it's not to acquire resources that we need. I'm talking set items, I'm talking normal gems, hopefully things like legendary crests, etc.
Thank God.
You're fishing for some goodies. I could see them adding like, you get 3, 4, 5 additional normal gems per day if you go and max out your fishing.
That makes sense.
But I want to take you on a darker path and show you how much none of that actually matters.
Okay.
Remember how many gems you can get free to play per day? Oh, no. 20 gems. 20. I forgot about this part. So then I just divide everything by 10 to look, even if they 10 times the income, like let's show you how long it takes. And spoiler alert, it's 4 years. But let's say is the amount when we mathed out, right? Okay. Let's say that Blizzard goes absolutely crazy and decides we're going to 10 times the amount of normal gems you get per day. You can now farm 200 normal gems, and everyone is singing their
That means it would only take you 3 years, right? 3.7 years?
Praises about how great of a change this is. To max out one normal gem, that would be still 98 days.
That's pretty good.
3 months to max out one gem.
Yeah.
To complete this set, that would be 1,377 days to complete all of the gems you need. I mean, this math seems obvious, but also known as just about 4 years, 3.78 years there, basically. So even if Blizzard now 10 times how many normal gems you could get as free to play in the game, it would still take you 4 years to max. But wait, that's not all of it. There's actually still another problem. You guys remember these things? The Echoing Crystal? You actually need these when you're upgrading your normal gems.
This part.
For instance, if I wanted to go from rank 7 to rank 8, it would cost me 15 of these. Don't forget, though, you need the duplicates of the other ones in order for it to work. So going from 8 to 9 is 35.
It's like a pyramid, right?
Yeah, but you need 3. It's a pyramid scheme of Echo Crystals, buddy. You need 3 of them, so I would have had to done this 3 times in order to get 3 more rank 8s. It's exponential in its cost.
Right.
Just to give you the number, it's 531. You need 531 echoing crystals times 500 in order to max out 1 gem. That's 265,000 platinum to max out 1 gem times 14 for the 14.
That's really not that much platinum. I mean, really, like, this is probably only a few $1,000s.
That's correct. I mean, in the grand scheme of this conversation, this amount of platinum is insignificant. Gems you're going to need,
pretty minimal.
That's 3.7 million
it's not
platinum.
even that much.
Otherwise known as more than all of the platinum the most known free-to-play guy has farmed, which was the 3.5 million that I was able to find anyway. It's still 200k more. That's over 7 months of platinum farming in order to just pay.
7 months farming probably every day diligently for hours and hours and hours.
Yep.
And he just gets leapfrogged over by an oil prince that's just bored on a Tuesday.
I mean, so as above is below, you know what I mean, my friend? It's a problem in real life, and it's a problem in video games. Only for the echoing crystals before we even talk about the gems you need. So for me, the current system has a few key failures. First and foremost, the amount of gems you need, 275,000 plus, seems to me like one thing. An infinite goalpost that is ever moving that is impossible to achieve. I don't think they actually expect anyone to max out all the normal gems. Instead,
I think they absolutely do. They put these goals out there in video games in order to entice people that are OCD and, compulsive, that also have a bunch of money.
Yeah, that's true. That's basically the market strategy. You make something that's like got the combination of fun, addictive, dopamine, and has the ability for you to basically dump infinite money into the game, and then you get 1 or 2 of those guys, and you're good.
Yeah, there are people that are out there that will spend this much money.
What they do is make it an impossible grind, so people just have progression they can always make, even if that progression is so low.
Right.
This does 2 things. It makes it easy for the game to always have something to do, I suppose, but unfortunately it also gives the carrot on stick appeal, where you chasing the carrot for a bit, and then you're like, I can never grab this damn carrot, and you're going to get annoyed and sick of it.
Of course.
I also think adding more importance to normal gems that we're doing on the 22nd, even if we're addressing the problem of normal gems, I've done the math in this video, even if Blizzard decides on the 22nd to add 10 times the normal gem income, which I would put money on it, they're not going to do.
Yeah.
It still would take basically 4 years in order to farm enough of the gems.
I sure hope they don't make another rank. I mean, imagine if they went up to rank 11 or rank 12.
Yeah, I actually, to their credit, I don't think they're going to do that. Like, I've noticed they've added additional ways to monetize, but not more significant ways to monetize, with the only argument really being the conversation that we're having in this one with normal gems is you're basically adding, I think it's similar to Resonance. Resonance affects all of your items, but it's the individualized socketed bonus of your overall base attribute is, I think, fairly significant. And that is actually starting to get into terms of power creep, but you could always buy normal gems. They're not adding like another rank to normal gems. They haven't done it to legendary gems. And it's arguable that the new legendary gems they've added in the game are like kind of worse than the base set of legendary gems that were in it already. So they haven't actually power creeped the game like too much. And the stuff that did actually power creep is just like the free stuff that you literally can't buy anyway, which is like legendary gear. So that's one thing they haven't really done, to be fair.
Before that 4 years were over. I mean, that would be awful.
People are going to play 4 years in order to
rank
max 20. Out the normal gems. This also doesn't include the fact that people need normal gems as free to play in order to sell them to be able to buy the legendary gems,
right?
Because the legendary gems are not really farmable. As it stands currently in the game, it would take you 37.7 years to be able to farm enough normal gems to level with them as free to play. That does not even include the platinum required with the Echo Crystals. So for my own personal opinion, we need more ways to get normal gems quicker and, most importantly, for free. Otherwise, the new system will be dead on arrival, as normal gems are currently already a problem in the game.
Wow. People play this? Yes.
Yes, they do.
There are people who are like they take pride in being able to beat whales in video games because it's some sort of like inferiority complex where they're like, oh, I can still compete against these guys. They're still not as good as me. I can outwork them. And like,
you know what? That's actually such a good point. Like, he's right about that. I absolutely know these people where they want to be better than the whales as free to play. And I know there's free to play people that are probably stronger than I am at this point in the game. So I think that's a very interesting point. I mean, I never even thought of it from that angle where like there's people that are going to be free to play. They do it as a point of pride. People probably do exist to do that.
They're working so hard, playing 10 hours a day, and then some, like fucking Wall Street stock trader plays the game, and he's like, oh, I lost to this guy. Well, that's weird. Okay, I'll just have to buy another one.
Dual friendly. Like, you have to both well and play the game a lot. It is a all-in type of mentality game, which is... What's that, or it's a very good, extremely casual game. But I'm talking if you actually want to be at the upper echelon and be stronger than like everyone, like you can't well out in the game and then not play the game and just be stronger than everyone. Like it doesn't really work that way because of the way the secondary stats work, because of the way that the Paragon level system works with getting better and better gear, etc. Like you're not going to be the strongest guy if you've spent the most money unless you also grind the game, which is very counter to a lot of what I've played in other games for Raid Shadow Legends, Gotcha Games, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, where I started on YouTube. Like a lot of these different games, you have to actually spend tons and tons of money, but the more money you spend, it reduces the amount of grind intake. But in Diablo, the amount of money you spend doesn't really reduce the grind like at all, because the other side of it that you can't spend money at all on, your legendary items, your set items, stuff like that, you have to go get those.
Okay, all right, now my gear's better. Okay, I beat him now. All right, cool. Anyway, so yeah, let's go out for drinks. And that's it, right? And like then this guy's like, oh my god, he fucking beat me. God fucking damn it. Shit, okay, I've got to farm. All right, let me think. So I'm going to do it for 10 hours, 7 days a week, and I'll only have to do this for 33 hours, and then I can finally get up to this level, and I can beat that loser again and show him that I'm the real winner, and I'm the best. That's what it is. Yeah. I cannot imagine living a life like that. 37 years later. Don't forget it's seasonal. Yep, that's right. It's 37. Yeah, 37 years later it's seasonal. They need to let normal gems drop at higher ranks. That's actually true. That would help out a lot. With the absolute scarcity of set items, drops, and acquisition in general, we're now not only looking at triple stat of the exact same set that we need, probably the best modifiers, but we also need to roll it with max sockets. Wow, what a surprise. Who could have ever expected this? Man, Diablo Immortal.
The max socket thing isn't really as important as it seems because, yes, you're going to need max sockets eventually, but if you're crunching up all your gems, you're not going to have that many gems. Like you're not instantly going to be able to fill all of the sockets if you crunch everything up. You can always put in the lower ones, I know, etc. But like you don't actually lose that many stats if you don't have tons and tons and tons of normal gems. We will eventually need to min-max and get those triple sockets, but we already needed the triple sockets anyway. I guess the triple sockets, depending upon whether the lower ranked gems and the higher ranked gems now coming to the game have difference in how much they increase the base stat. So let's say that like a rank 1 gives like a 2% bonus, but rank 10 gives like a 30% bonus to the base stat of that item or something like, around that. Then yes, the triple sockets will be even less important because you're going to have higher rank ones and the smaller ones aren't as important. But if it's a base flat where it's like all gems give 5% base stats, then it's, yes, the sockets are almost the only thing that matters because leveling them higher isn't going to increase that base stat. So it really depends upon how they do it, which is why I didn't go into too much speculation in the video, mostly just math because we're waiting on the rest of the patch to drop to figure out exactly what's going on.
It is a video game. Or so they say. There's the video right there. This is fucking amazing. I'm gonna give it a like. Holy fuck.
Alright. This was a good video. I'm gonna give it a like. I like this dancing intro. I think I need to get one of those as well. Or outro. Dancing outro.